Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are diving headfirst into a classic fantasy adventure. We're talking about the 2003 series Hatim. And this one, man, it's packed with impossible challenges, these deep psychological tests, and honestly, a super clever solution to a pretty deadly curse. Okay, so right off the bat, we're not even starting with our hero. Nope, we're starting with his arch nemesis, Dajjal. And listen to this threat. This isn't just, I'm going to beat you. This is a promise of total annihilation. Dajjal wants to shatter Hatim's destiny, his very stars, and just scatter them to the wind. I mean, talk about high stakes, it literally doesn't get higher than that.
So here's the setup. To beat Dajjal, Hatim has to find 7 answers, and his quest for the first one kicks off with him having to pass through these magical gates. But the danger isn't just for him, It's not just about his own survival. It's a race against the clock for someone he cares about deeply.
And this is where things get really intense. It's such a classic hero's dilemma, right? You've got Hatim who's facing this immediate physical danger, like statues breathing fire at him. But at the exact same time, the woman he's trying to save, Sunaina, is in this awful position where she feels like she has to marry the bad guy to save her own family. The pressure on him is it's immense.
So the gatekeepers are basically yelling, "We're going to turn you to ash," but this is where we really see what Hatim is made of. And it's not some magic sword or a fancy spell that saves him. It's just pure, raw courage. He literally walks straight through the flames, completely unharmed, proving his willpower is just stronger than fire. And all the while, his buddy Hobo is just standing there, absolutely terrified, which really sells how incredible this is.
Okay, so he passed the trial by fire. Easy enough, right? Well, the next gate completely changes the game. The battlefield isn't outside anymore. It's all in his head. This next challenge is purely psychological. It's designed to make our heroes face their own personal, deep-seated fears. So after a quick fight with some guards, the real test shows up. A magical door just appears out of nowhere. And what's in the door? A mirror. But this is no ordinary mirror. It shows you your reflection, but it's a twisted version of you, one that knows all your insecurities, and it speaks with your voice, using your own doubts against you. It's a seriously nasty bit of magic.
So Hatim's reflection starts talking, right? It's telling him, turn back. This is a one-way trip. Nobody ever comes back from here. Basically, it's promising him total doom. But Hatim, he doesn't even blink. He just ignores it and walks right on through. It's like in that moment you realize he's already dealt with his inner demons. The mirror has nothing to work with, no fear to exploit. But for Hobo, our lovable, not-so-brave sidekick, it's a totally different story. His reflection is pleading with him, "Don't go in there! It's certain death! I can't watch you die!" And Hobo, being the relatable guy he is, totally freaks out. He buys into the fear completely and just stays behind. And that's what's so great about it, His reaction really shows you just how incredibly strong-willed Hatim is. So now, our hero has to go on alone.
So Hatim steps through the gate and, wow, he finds himself in this completely silent, barren wasteland. Everything is just dust and rock. It's clear something terrible happened here. And sure enough, he's almost immediately captured by the people who live there, who are just so grim and hopeless. And they're the ones who tell him the tragic story of how their beautiful home was destroyed.
And it turns out, the one thing that can save this land is something called the Ab-e-Shabab. Basically, the water of life for youth. And this might just be the answer Hatim is looking for. But there's a huge catch. It's in a statue, in the middle of a cursed lake. And when I say cursed, I mean everyone believes it's absolutely impossible to get to.
So how did this all happen? Well, the history is pretty tragic. It all boils down to one guy's greed. See, the kingdom used to be a paradise, all thanks to this magical water. But their own head magician got greedy. He wanted the Ab-e-Shabab all for himself. But when he stepped into the lake to take it, his greed literally turned him into water. And in doing so, he cursed the entire lake. Now, anything that touches it just dissolves.
So you can see why this is such an impossible puzzle, right? The people there have completely given up. They've watched friends, family, everything just vanish into this lake. There's no hope left. But then, Hatim shows up. And, being the hero he is, he makes them a promise. He tells them, "I will get that water, and I will fix your home."
So, how do you cross a lake that turns everything it touches into water? That's the big question. And Hatim, he just sits there by the lake all night thinking. He even does a little experiment, He fires an arrow into it, and poof, the second it hits the water, it's gone, dissolved. It really seems like there's no way.
And then he has this flash of genius. He takes a burning log from his campfire and just tosses it into the lake. And what happens? It doesn't dissolve. It just floats there, burning. That's the secret. The curse has one weakness: fire. The water can't destroy something that's on fire. So what does he do? He builds a bridge out of burning logs, walks right across this bridge of flames, and snags the eoisode. Absolutely brilliant.
And just like he promised, he does it. He uses just a few drops of the water, and the entire wasteland transforms back into a lush paradise. It's this incredible moment of victory. But right when you think it's all over, right as he's about to head home, the story takes a really sharp, unexpected turn.
Yeah, just when it feels like a total win, someone who was pretending to be an ally steps out of the shadows. The sorceress Zalima. She ambushes Hatim, snatches the eoisode that he worked so hard to get, and then, in this ultimate act of betrayal, she drinks the whole thing herself to become young forever.
So when Hatim confronts her like, "What about your promise?" she just scoffs at him. "We are demons," she says. "We have no promises and no principles." And in that one devastating moment, Hatim gets it. All his hard work, all his courage, his brilliant plan, it was all just part of her plan. She used him, and now he's left with nothing.
And that is where they leave us. What a brutal cliffhanger, right? Hatim did everything right. He passed every test, solved the unsolvable puzzle, only to get betrayed right at the finish line. The prize is gone, he's got a brand new, super powerful enemy, and it just leaves you wondering, after a loss that complete, how on earth does a hero even start to come back from that?